Hello, friends. I hope you and your families are doing good. I welcome you all to this new series of Shade Samriddhi Guidance SSG, that is, Solve SFM with me, Priyanka Purohit. In this particular video, we will be covering the concepts of Forex, which are basic but are essential. The entire series will be in 100% English. So, let us start with the basic concepts of Forex. In this chapter, we have to look into major two categories, that is, you will be given with two currencies. Out of these two currencies, one will be the base currency or the underlying asset or product or commodity. That is, this currency will be the one which is being traded. The market is of this currency. And the other one is the counter currency or the price currency or the quote currency. This is the price, that is, in this currency you have to make the payment to purchase this product or commodity, which is again a currency. This is the major difference in forex market, because in our usual market we go and buy a product. Let us say we want to purchase a mobile. For purchasing that mobile, we have to pay money in the form of currency, which can be rupee, dollar, etc. So we know that there is only one product, and for that we have to pay a price, which is a currency. But here in forex market, we have been given both the currencies, even the product is in the form of currency only. Hence it gives us a little bit confusion, but when we will be covering all the basic concepts, you will be clear with most of the difficult part. Even before starting with the basic concepts, we have to first understand the sequence or a list of currencies, that is, it is the order in which they are put in the market. The first one, or the highest most expensive currency, is the Kuwait dinar. In terms of rupee, it can be purchased, one Kuwait dinar you can buy or sell by paying 249 rupees. You can buy one Kuwait dinar by paying 249 rupees. Next one is GBP. GBP is for London currency or Great Britain currency. Next one is Euro, which is a currency of most of the European countries. CHF is a currency of Switzerland. Then it is USA. US's currency is USD, INR, and then JPY. JPY is currency of Japan. So this is the order. You don't have to remember each and every currency, which one is the strong or which one is the weak, but you have to remember at least these 4-5 currency which I have mentioned. Kuwait dinar I have just mentioned for your knowledge purpose. Question on Kuwait dinar is not present in our practice manual. You have to remember JBP. So for in respect of INR, that is for a citizen of India, currency of Japan is cheap. And then comes the USD. You have to remember USD is most traded currency of the world, but it is not the strongest one. The strongest one is Kuwait dinar. Also GBP, Euro, CHF are mostly stronger than USD. So these are the exchange rate. It means that for purchasing 1 USD, you have to pay 74.89 rupees. For purchasing 1 CHF, you have to pay 81.70. Similarly, for purchasing 1 euro, you have to pay rupees 88.48. And lastly, for purchasing 1 GBP, 1 unit of GBP, you have to pay 102.56 rupees. This is one of the format of exchange rate. Exchange rates are given in various format. One such format can be simply rupee per dollar 51 and 52. Other one can be INR USD, but in this case it will be as, because we have to read it from left from right to left. When we are going, when symbols are mentioned, that is rupee per dollar, like these symbols are used, these are the internationally recognized symbols. When these symbols are used, you have to read it as rupee per dollar. But when INR is slash USD, that is the ISO codes of currencies are given, then you have to go from the reverse side, that is from right to left. It would be read as USD per INR. You can write it here. This means USD per INR. So this will be, you can remember it as, this is an, so this is dollar per rupee, if you want to understand in this way. Also, if it is mentioned as rupee per USD, then it is nothing but you have to take it, whatever the currency it will be displayed, you have to take it as it is, that is rupee per USD only. This is not a actual format of writing or mentioning the exchange rate, but ICAI has mentioned it like this in some of the sums, hence I am writing it in this way. Also, if something is written as INR is to Japan, this is also not a ISO code, so this also you have to look into the values and you can interpret. So let us say if it is written as 0.70, 0.75, then it is in yen per rupee terms. If the question is saying as 71 is to 72, something like that, then you can interpret it as rupee per yen. This is the kind of interpretation you have to make. So mostly for your exams you have to remember these two criteria, that is rupee per dollar, example 5152, and INR is to USD, that is, let us say 7.75, 0.80. This will be rupee per dollar and this will be dollar per rupee. So whenever it is mentioned as rupee per dollar is equal to 51/53, we have to understand that this rupee is the price currency and this dollar is the actually the commodity or the product. मतलब मार्केट किसका है, मार्केट डॉलर का है. डॉलर इज बीइंग ट्रेडेड इन द फॉरेक्स मार्केट, सो दिस इज द प्रोडक्ट, and for this product we have to pay a price which will be in terms of rupee. The next concept which is of direct quote and indirect quote. So what is direct quote and indirect quote? When the home currency per unit of foreign currency is given, it is a direct quote. Example, you are a citizen of India and the exchange rate is given as rupee per dollar is equal to 51/53. So for a citizen of India, for an Indian citizen, this quote, when it is mentioned, it is a direct quote. But when a USA person, USA nationality person is given this same quote, for that person this quote will be regarded as an indirect quote. It means that you can write in your notebook also, home currency per unit of foreign currency is a direct quote. Similarly, foreign currency per unit of home currency, when home currency is in per unit form, then it will be in an indirect quote. So to summarize, you can state that for a citizen of India, there are two citizens, one is of India and other one is of USA. When the quote is given as rupee per dollar 70/72, then for this person it will be a direct quote, and for this person, USA person, that it will be indirect quote. Similarly, when dollar per rupee is equal to, similarly when it is mentioned as dollar per rupee 0.0138/0.0143, it will be a indirect quote for a person residing in India, whereas for a person residing in USA, this quote will be a direct quote. Also, you have to understand the relationship between the direct quote and indirect quote. You can write it as direct quote is equal to 1 upon indirect quote, that is, direct quote is inverse form of indirect quote and vice versa. Both are reciprocal of each other. Similarly, in case of bid, we will understand it later. What is bid? For bid, it will be ask of indirect quote, and for ask direct quote, it will be 1 upon bid of indirect quote. The next major concept is the bid and ask rate. In forex, you have to remember that we have to always look from the perspective of a bank. So for bank, bid is the bank's buying rate, whereas ask is the bank's selling rate. So whenever a exchange rate quote is given as rupee per dollar 71/73, so this 71 will be the bid rate and 73 will be the ask rate. So bank will buy at 71 and will sell at 73, because the motive of bank will always be to make profit. bank's motive in forex chapter will always be to make profit. So it will buy at a cheaper price and sell at a higher price to make profit. Also, this profit, that is 73 minus 71, this difference of bid and ask is regarded as spread, which is nothing but the profit of bank. So you can also write it as ask will always be greater than bid rate, so that bank can earn the profit. Also, ask minus bid will give you spread, which is nothing but the profit of the bank. Also, you have to remember that all this bank's buying rate and bank selling rate is not for the quote currency, which we have studied earlier. It's not for the quote currency. This bid and ask for this are for this base currency or the underlying asset or the product or the commodity. So in this case, you can write it as bid is the bank's buying rate for base currency and ask is bank's selling rate for base currency. In this example of our rupee per dollar 71/73, dollar is the base currency and rupee is the price currency. So in this example, bank will sell dollar for 73 after buying dollar for 71. So now let us understand the second most important concept, that is of cross rates. To understand this concept of cross rates, we have to first understand it by way of some examples. So first example I will be giving you as you have been given the rates as rupee per dollar is 71/73. You have also been given as dollar per pound is 1.37 and 1.39, and you have to find out the rate of rupee per pound. So how will you do it? The rates will be, this can be computed using a mathematical equation or formula as A upon C is equal to A upon B multiplied by B upon C. So by this way, you can cancel the denominator B in this fraction and the numerator of this fraction, another fraction. You can cut it and you will get the value of A upon C. So in this case, how will you do it? Rupee per pound you have to find out. This will be your A upon C. Then you have to write the A upon B. What is A upon B in our equation or exchange rate? It is rupee per dollar into B upon C. B upon C is dollar per pound. So dollar per pound. So by this way, dollar will get cut and you will get the values of rupee per pound. So now I will put the values. When you have to find the ask of rupee per pound, then you will take the ask of rupee per dollar first, multiplied it by ask of dollar upon pound. So we know that these are the ask rate and this is the bid rate. So what is the ask rate of rupee per dollar? Ask rate of rupee per dollar is 73. This will be multiplied by the ask rate of dollar per pound. Dollar per pound, the ask rate is 1.39. So you will get the value 73 into 1.39, that is 101.47. This is the ask rate of rupee per pound. Rupee per pound. Similarly, you will find the bid rate for rupee per pound in the same fashion. The formula will be bid of rupee per dollar multiplied by bid of dollar upon pound. So what is the bid of rupee upon dollar? Rupee upon dollar bid is 71. This will be multiplied by the bid of dollar upon pound, that is 1.37. So you will get the values 71 into 1.37, 97.27. this is rupee per pound and it is the bid rate. So when you will frame the exchange rate as rupee per pound, you will write the bid rate first, that is 97.27 slash the ask rate, that is 1.147. So you know this is the ask rate and this is the bid rate, and ask rate is always greater than the bid rate. So this was the pattern you have to follow. This was the formula. A upon C is equal to A upon B into B into C, B upon C. This you have to follow when you are given with three currencies. Now let us look into an example when you have been given four currencies. So an example of this can be, let us say you have been given rupee per dollar, the same rates which we have earlier taken, that is 71 upon 73, and dollar per pound rates are as 1.37 and 1.39, and dollar upon yen, a new currency I have introduced in this example, the values are this 0.0067 and 0.0069, and you are asked to find out the value of rupee per yen. Rupee per yen. So now we will frame our equation first. The equation will be A upon D is equal to A upon B into B upon C into C upon D. So by this B and B and this C and C will cut, and you will be remain with the equation you have to find out, that is A upon D. So we will write it in this situation only. So for ask of rupee upon yen, the formula will be written as ask of rupee per dollar. This will be multiplied by the ask of dollar upon pound. It will again be multiplied by ask of pound upon yen. So you have to write the values. This is ask rate and this is the bid rate. So the ask of rupee per dollar is 73, which will be multiplied by the ask rate of dollar upon pound, that is 1.39. This will be multiplied by ask rate of dollar pound upon yen, that is 0.0069. So you will get the values of A as 0.7001. This is the ask rate of rupee per yen. Rupee per yen. As you know, yen currency is weaker than the or less than the rupee currency. Now we will find out the bid rate of rupee per yen. In the similar fashion, the formula will be bid of rupee per dollar multiplied by bid of dollar upon pound. This will be multiplied by bid of pound upon yen. So the values will be 71 multiplied by 1.37 multiplied by 0.0067. Now you will get the bid value of rupee per yen as 71 into 1.37 into 0.67. This will give us 0.6517 per yen. So now I will write the exchange rate as rupee per yen. This is the bid rate. We have to write it first, 0.6517 slash 0.7001. This is rupee per yen. The formula, the statement which I have made earlier, that is ask rate will always be greater than bid rate, is satisfied here also. So this is the formula you have to, or this is the equation you have to frame when you are given four currencies. So as you can understand, in both these examples, example number 1 as well as example number 2, the currencies, these two currencies were given in direct quote. Okay, because they were mentioned, they were greater than 1. But this currency, that is pound per yen, this was an indirect quote because it was mentioned in decimals. So now we will consider another example for cross currency rates only, example number 3, where you will be given values such as dollar per rupee is 0.0136 and 0.0141, and the other rate is dollar per pound 1.37 and 1.39, and you have to find out the quote for rupee per pound. So again we will frame the equation as 1 upon C is equal to 1 upon B into B upon C. So what is A upon C in our case? It is rupee per pound. Okay, so what will be the A upon B in our case? It will be rupee by dollar into dollar upon pound. But if you see in the question, we have to find out first the ask rate of rupee upon pound. We will take the ask of rupee upon dollar multiply by ask of dollar upon pound. But if you see in the question, are you given the rates of rupee per pound, rupee per dollar, rupee per dollar? No, you have been given the rates of dollar per rupee. Dollar per rupee is 0.0136 and 0.0141, whereas the ask rate of dollar per pound, these rates are given directly, that is dollar per pound is given directly in the question. So this is given in the other way round. So what you will do, we have already understand in the previous video part of direct quote and indirect quote, the relationship between direct quote and indirect quote is like direct quote is inverse of indirect quote. So when you have to find out the bid of direct quote, what you will do, you will find it as 1 upon ask of indirect quote. Similarly, vice versa you will do for finding out the ask of direct quote. So in this case we have to find out the ask of rupee upon dollar, but we are given the rates of dollar per rupee. So usually we will take ask, means this is the ask rate and this is the bid rate. So we, in previous examples, like in this example, we have taken ask upon rupee per dollar, we have taken this amount, that is 73. But in this case we cannot take this value because it is not the quote which we want. We want rupee upon dollar, but it is given as dollar upon rupee. So what we will do, we will write it as 1 upon bid of the equation which we want, that is which is given in the question, that is rupee upon dollar upon rupee, and this will remain same because it is correctly given in the question. So what is bid of dollar upon rupee? Bid of dollar upon rupee is this and not this. So we will take this value 0.10136 into ask of dollar upon pound. Dollar upon pound ask rate is 1.39. So we will solve this and get the value 1.39 divided by 0.136. This is 102.21 rupee upon pound. This is the ask rate we have got of rupee upon rupee per pound. Now we will do similarly for bid of rupee upon pound. The formula or equation will be same, rupee upon dollar, bid dollar upon pound. Similarly, bid of dollar upon pound will be this, but bid of rupee upon dollar is not given in the question. So we will again have to use the direct quote and indirect quote relationship, and by this we will get bid of rupee upon dollar will be 1 upon ask of dollar upon rupee. This will remain the same. So the value will be 1 upon ask of dollar upon rupee. 1 upon ask of dollar upon rupee is this. So we will write it here, and this bid rate is 1.37. Now we will solve this. $97.1631. This is rupee per pound bid rate. So the final exchange rate by all this cross currency will be rupee per pound as 97.1631, 102.21. This is the ask rate and this is the bid rate, and ask rate is greater than the bid rate. So this is the example of indirect quote. Now we will look into the another example when we have been given 4 currencies. So example will be taken as rupee, dollar per rupee values are 0.136 slash 0.141, dollar per pound is 1.37 and 1.39, and again in this case we will take yen per pound. The values will be 144.93 and 149.25. Similarly, we have to find out the value for rupee per yen. We have to find the values for rupee per yen. So we will frame the equation as A upon D is equal to A upon B into B upon C into C upon D. So while finding the ask rate of rupee per yen, the equation will be ask of rupee upon dollar multiplied by ask of dollar upon pound multiplied by ask of pound upon yen. So by this way dollar will cut and pound will cut, and we will be remaining with ask of rupee upon yen. So the values will be ask of rupee per dollar, but we are given again the indirect quote. So what we will do, these are the ask rate and this is the bid rate. So here the formula will be using the interpretation of this direct quote and indirect quote. We will do it as bid of dollar upon rupee multiplied by ask of dollar upon pound. Dollar upon pound is given, so we will write it as it is. Again ask of pound per yen, but we have been given yen per pound, so we have to again reverse it here. That will be 1 upon bid of yen upon pound. So the values will be 0.0136 multiplied by ask of dollar per yen, that is 1.39. This will be the values we will take in while finding the ask rate. This will be 1 upon, this will be bid of yen per pound, that is 144.93. So how you will solve it? 1.39 divided by 0.0136, and this again will be divided by 144.93. So the values will be rupee 0.7052 per yen. As you know, in terms of payment, rupee is stronger than yen, so the values will be like this. This is the ask rate of rupee per yen. Now we will find out the another rate, that is a bid rate of rupee per yen. This will be calculated as bid of rupee upon dollar multiplied by bid of dollar upon pound multiplied by bid of pound upon yen. In this case also we are not given the rates of rupee per dollar, but we are given the rates of dollar per rupee. So we will reverse this. Ask of dollar upon rupee, this will remain the same, so we will write it as it is, and dollar upon yen is also we have to reverse, so we will write it as. Now we will take the values. 1 upon ask of dollar per rupee is multiplied by the bid rate of dollar per yen, dollar per pound, that is 1.37. Again we'll multiply it as 1 upon 149.25. So we will get the bid rate of rupee per yen, that is 1.37 divided by 0.141. This will again be divided by 149.25. It's 0.6510 per yen. So the equation or the exchange rate will be rupee per yen 0.6510 slash this is 0.7052. As you can see, this is the ask rate and this is the bid rate, and ask is greater than the bid rate. So now moving towards the next concept, which is of spot rate and forward rate. So spot rate, what is spot rate? It is the rate prevalent at time 0, and it is the rate which is prevalent at time which is a future date. So rate at which spot rate is the rate at which one currency can be converted into another currency at spot. When the conversion is taken place at the spot time, then we are using the spot rate. But forward rate is the rate at which one currency can be converted into another currency on a future date. So that rate will be regarded as a forward rate. So to summarize, you can write it as transaction. For transacting at spot, you will use the spot rate, and for transacting on a future date, you will use the forward rate. So now we will move on to the next concept, that is of swap points. Why these swap points are necessary? What is the need of this swap point? The major need of the swap point is that as you have already studied, that there are two rates, spot rate and the forward rate. So spot rates are obviously given in the question, but how you will compute the forward rate? So for forward rate, either they will be given as it is in the question, or you will be given these swap points in the question, and by either adding or deducting. So either we will add or less these swap points and we will get the forward rate. So the formula will be spot plus or minus swap points. This will give you the forward rate. So let us take an example first. Let us say the example is rupee per dollar 71.0035 slash 73.0045. Also the swap points are given as 25 slash 35. So how you will, these are the swap points, and these are written in from the decimal point. That is, even if they are given in 2 digits, you have to write it as 71 dot dot, this 25 will either be added or deducted. So we have to look it from the right to left. Similarly in this case also, this is the ask rate and this is the bid rate. You have to make the calculation by considering these swap points from the right to left in the decimal section. So how you will decide that this swap points will be added or deducted? So this decision will be made if these are in the increasing trend. So bid swap point for bid rate is 25 and for ask is 35. So this is showing an increasing trend. So this will be added to the respective rates. Similarly, if swap points were of 20 and 15, so these are showing a decreasing trend. Hence these will be deducted to compute the forward rate. So how we will look it into one by one. This is the example 1. This is the example number 2. So we will compute. In example number 1, the forward rate will be the spot rate, that is 71.0035 and 73.0045. Since it's showing an increasing trend, we will add it. Swap points will be added. So it will be added as 00.25, 0025, and similarly here 0035. So we will add these two and get the forward values. So the values will be 06, and here also. So as you can see, the ask is greater than the bid. Similarly, in the next case we will do, since here the swap points are in decreasing trend, we will decrease it. So let us write the spot first. The spot is 71.0035 and 73.0045, and the swap points, since they are showing a decreasing trend, this time we will minus them. Please put this bracket over negative figures, because you will end up making silly mistakes if you don't put the bracket. You might also end up adding these two. So the value will be, and here this will be. So now you can also see that the bid rate is greater than the ask, that the ask rate is greater than the bid rate. So you can understand it in this way, that when swap points are in increasing trend, then they are added, and when swap points are in decreasing trend, then they are subtracted from the spot rate. Then they are increasing trend added, decreasing trend subtracted. Also, we have earlier studied the concept of spread. So now I will tell you the difference between the spread and the swap points. This chart you can make in your books also. So the difference between forward and spot, you can write it here. Then make a table. Let us say rupee per dollar are the exchange rate. Bid, ask. So you can write down the example with me. The rates are 65.4025 and 65.4100. Here it's 65.4250 and here it's 65.4375. We have to find out first the spread. We have learned the spread. Spread is what? It's the difference between the ask and bid rate. So the spread will be 4250 minus, since 65 is common in all, we will just subtract from the last 4, that is the decimal points only in this case. So the spread here is 225 and in this case it's 275. Now we will find out the swap points. So what is swap point? It's the difference between the bid of forward and spot and the difference between the ask of forward and spot. So the points will be 75 and 125. So this chart will give you the exact difference between the forward and the spot rate. So now we will look into another small concept for conversion of currencies. So when you have picked up your bid rate and ask rate, then you have to multiply it with your amount. So how you will do it? Let us say, for example, you have been given rupees 15 million and this 15 million you have to convert into dollar, and the rates are given as rupee per dollar 71/73, and you have picked the rate 71. Let us say you have picked 71. So how you will do the conversion? First of all, you have to remember that 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs rupees 10 lakhs. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. So you have to write 15 million as it is. Also write the exchange rate which you have picked up, that is rupee per dollar 71. So if this rupee 15 million rupees and rupee per dollar, since also the currency is rupee 71 per dollar, so you have to divide it. Since both the currencies are same, rupee and rupee are same, you have to make division, because if you will multiply, it will be rupee into rupee, that will be rupee square, which we don't want. So we will do division. But if the case was $15 million, let us say instead of this being 15 million rupees, it was $15 million and the rates were similar, that is rupee per dollar 71, then how you will do the conversion? Then you will multiply it, because here the currency, one currency is dollar and the other currency is rupees. So here you can multiply both the currencies and you will get the answer. So the answers will be, when 15 million rupees is converted into dollar, the answer will be rupee 211,267, and here the answer will be 15 million into 71 for rupees. So the amount will be 106,50,00,000. This is the amount. So now moving forward to the next concept, that is of premium and discount. So this premium and discount, it can be calculated on both. It can be calculated either on base currency or on the price or counter currency. this premium or discount can be calculated either on the base currency or on the price of the counter currency. So in our most favorite example of rupee per dollar is equal to 71. In this case, for base currency, you will use here base currency is dollar and price or counter currency is rupee. So when we are calculating the premium or discount, formula for both premium and discount is same, but it will differ whether you are calculating it for base currency or for price or counter currency. So when you are using it for the base currency, the formula will be for premium and discount both. The formula will be F upon S, that is forward minus spot divided by spot, into 12 or 365 or 360. Either you are taking months or you are taking days, whatever the case may be. The whole divided by n, that is the number of days actual. This will be multiplied by 100. This will be the formula for both premium as well as discount when you are calculating it for the base currency. But when you are calculating it from the perspective of price or counter currency, that is in our case rupee, then the formula for premium and discount will be S minus F, that is spot minus forward divided by forward into 12 minus n or 365, whatever the case may be, into 100. So also I will write the formula here also, F minus S upon S into 12 upon n into 100. So these are the two formulas. So how you will remember this? For people who are comfortable in Hindi, you can remember it as रुपी. रुपी क्या है? हमारी स्वदेशी कंट्री है, यानी कि ये हमारा स्वदेश है. तो स्वदेश मतलब S से शुरू होगा, तो S माइनस एफ अपॉन एफ, और जो यहाँ पे लास्ट में जो आएगा माइनस एफ होगा वही यहाँ पे न्यूमरेटर जो होगा वो यहाँ पे डिनोमिनेटर में आएगा. सिमिलरली अगर वो फॉरेन करेंसी है, मतलब फॉरवर्ड का मतलब हो गया फॉरेन वाली. तो अगर हम फॉरेन करेंसी यानी कि बेस करेंसी क्या है, ये डायरेक्ट कोट की बात हो रही है यहाँ पे, तो तब हम क्या करेंगे, इसमें ये जो बंदा इंडिया का है उसके लिए डॉलर क्या हो गया, फॉरेन करेंसी हो गई. तो वो क्या फॉर्मूला रहेगा, F माइनस एस अपॉन एस. तो दीज आर द टू फॉर्मूलाज विच यू हैव टू रिमेंबर for both. When you are calculating from base currency perspective, the formula for premium or discount will be F minus S upon S into 12 upon N into 100. And when you are calculating it from the price or counter currency, whether you are of the direct quote or indirect quote, whatever the case may be, but if you are calculating it from the perspective of the base or the not base, but if you are calculating it from the perspective of price or counter currency, then the formula for premium or discount will be S minus F upon F multiplied by 12 upon N into 100. Another small concept is of PIPS. PIPS. What is PIPS? It's the price interest point. So what is this PIP? PIPS is the smallest unit by which currency quote can change. So what is PIP? Example, let us say for example USD INR. I am using another quote. You will read it as INR per USD. From this direction you will read it as, and example is 61.75. So this 61.75 in when we are looking for the forward rate or any which the case, this can either change to 61.74 or this can either increase to 61.76. So this 61.75 can either decrease to 61.74 or it can increase to 61.76. So what is the PIPS value in this case? So the PIPS value will be 0.01. How we will compute it? Also it's 61.75 minus 61.74. This will be 0.01. Also in this case also 61.76 minus 61.75. You will get 0.01. Also this PIPS value is when 4 decimals are given. In case 4 decimals are given, it will be written as 0.00001. So this is the PIPS. So now we will move on to the last concept, basic concept of forex, which is the merchant rates and the interbank rates. So what are these? There are two kinds of rates, interbank rate as well as the merchant bank rates. So interbank rates are the rates between two banks, and merchant rate is the rate between one bank and its customer. What is the difference between these two? The difference between these two is that interbank rates plus margin will give you the merchant rates. So what is the relevance of these two? When we are when any question we have been given by ICA, the rates which we have been given are the interbank rates. To this rate we have to either add or less the margin, and then we will get the merchant bank rates. So you can understand that this margin is nothing but the profit of banks which they earn when they are dealing with the customers. Since it's the rate, merchant rate is the rate between one bank and the customer, they earn the profit when they are dealing with the customer. It can also be treated as the income. So one question will arise in your mind, that what we should do when we are given the two-way currency quote, like rupee per dollar 71 and 73 are given. So what the margin, how you have to consider the margin? Either we will add it or deduct it. So what will be the case? See, ask rate. Ask rate is the rate at which bank is ready to sell the product, and bid is the rate at which the bank is ready to buy the product. This is the case of bank. So when it will be similarly, it will be selling it to the customer. So what will be the customer doing here? Customer will sell at this bid rate and customer will buy at this rate. So when buying, we have to make the, when we are entering into a buying transaction with the bank, we will pay the margin. So we will add it here. And when we are selling a currency to bank, at that time, to give the bank its income, we will subtract it. So this you have to remember, that while computing the bid rate, we have to subtract the margin amount, because it is the income of bank. Since margin is the income of bank, when we are transacting with bank will collect this amount of margin from the customer. So bank will always collect margin, which is nothing but the income from customer. So when it will be selling, it will be added, and when it is buying, it will be deducted. It means that जब कस्टमर बाय करेगा तो उसको सारी कॉस्ट उसमें इंक्लूड करनी होगी. सो मार्जिन जो है वो कस्टमर के लिए एक्सपेंस होगी. मार्जिन अमाउंट इज एन एक्सपेंस फॉर कस्टमर. सो वाइल मेकिंग अ परचेज, ही विल एड दिस मार्जिन मनी. सिमिलरली व्हेन कस्टमर इज सेलिंग the currency, so this margin money will be deducted from its net proceeds. इसीलिए जब बिड प्राइस निकालते हैं हम कस्टमर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू के लिए, यानी कि मर्चेंट रेट के लिए, जब हम बिड प्राइस निकालते हैं तब हम ये माइनस करेंगे, मार्जिन अमाउंट माइनस करेंगे. सो टू समराइज ऑल दिस डिस्कशन, आई कैन समराइज इट एज व्हेन द ट्रांजैक्शन इज बिटवीन one customer and one bank, then the transaction will be done at merchant rates. But when transactions are done between one bank and bank 2, then it will be undertaken at interbank rate. And also in this case, when two banks are involved, one bank will be purely bank and the other one will be dealing with another bank as a customer. So this you have to remember. In this case, in the first case, you will think from the perspective of the bank, and in another case also, when both banks are involved, one bank will be acting in the capacity of customer and the another bank will be acting in the customer of actual bank. So in this case also you have to consider or the perspective from actual bank's point of view only. So bid and ask rate will be computed from bank's perspective always. So with this we have completed all the basic concepts of forex. Thank you so much for watching till the very end. If you liked the video, please give it a like, share, comment and subscribe to the channel for more such videos.